Yeah, now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I see the green light is on that one, so. We are rolling along. Hi.
Hi. All day.
Brandon, come sit in your seat, honey. You can sit there if you want to. Okay. No, Josh, it's not you.
Come here. You can drink milk now? Yeah, like it. It tastes good.
She's not ready for music yet, she said.
I'm not ready for music. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, come on. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Can folks hear me with the microphone? Yeah? All right, Shabbat shalom. Glad you all are with us tonight. We're going to light our candles. That is on page 38 in your prayer books, and is our practice to have our beam of gas, light the candles, and could be the whole family coming together if you wish to do that. Oh, I've got a book. You can use my book. Always got a book here. Yeah. All right. Hello. There you go. 38.
Thank you. Am I reading in English and Hebrew or
Sure.
just Hebrew?
Sure, whatever you want.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Stay here. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, who hallow us with your mitzvot and command us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Hmm?
May we be blessed with Shabbat joy.
Amen.
May we be blessed with Shabbat peace.
Amen.
May we be blessed with Shabbat light.
Amen. Yes, you are. Thank you. All right. Oops, it went out. No, I'll let you. All right. So, Psalm 95 on page 39. Let's read responsively. Come, let us sing to the Eternal One. Let our song ring out to our sheltering rock. Let us come before God with thanksgiving. For great are you, Eternal One. In your hands are the depths of the earth. You made the sea, it is yours. You are our God and our shepherd. If only today we would listen to your voice. All right. And we move ahead to page 44, Psalm 29. I don't think we have any more of those transliteration sheets available. They used to be in the ritual closet, but then I think they got moved out. Yeah? Okay, no, I mean, all right, so we are on page 44, Psalm 29. Please join in words, melody, lies, whatever is comfortable for you. We're going to go through it with the words first. Excuse me. Candle smoke. And then we're going to do without words too. Excuse me. Mizmor leDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai, Kavod ba'oz, Lai, Havu l'Adonai, Kevod shemo hishtachvu l'Adonai, B'hadra kodesh, Kol Adonai Ahamayim El HaKavod Hirim Adonai Almayim Rabim Kol Adonai Ba'koach Lai Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel Levanon Vesirion. Kemo ven re'emim, Lai, Kol Adonai, Chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai, Yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai, midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai, Yichol elayalot, Vayechesov, Ye'arot, Uvehechalo, Kulo Omer Kavod, Lai, Adonai, Lama Hapol Yashav, V'yeshev Adonai, Melech Liolam, Adonai Oz, Li'amo Yiten, Adonai Yivarech, Etamo Vashalom. Lai, All right. Thanks as always for joining me along and singing that. That one's always best kind of belted out loudly. So grateful that we're learning it together. All right. So we are going to continue with Lecha Dodi on page 46. Lecha Dodi being the beautiful medieval prayer that was written by the Jewish mystics to welcome in Shabbat, to bring Shabbat into our space and to get excited about Shabbat and remembering Shabbat. And It is on page 46. And I'm wondering if somebody has like a special tune they'd like to go with. Anything come to mind? If not, I can just do the one I knew. Okay. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad hishmi anu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo l'tiferet v'litila lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela hitoreri ki va'orech kumi uri shir daberi Kivod Adonai alaych nigla lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. And we face the entrance and we welcome Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzola tov emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Oh, excellent. Because that was going to be my next question. Yay, Mark. Thank you. All right. So then we are going to have our Hatzi Kaddish, page 49. Please rise as you are able, body and spirit, for the Hatzi Kaddish, which will lead us into our call to worship, the Baruch. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yamad yivrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayei chonu v'yomei Ufchaye dichol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'yamaru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach li'olam olam me'al maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yit hadar, v'yit ale, v'yit halal, shemei dekudesha, rechu, le'elam, min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran Bialma, Biamaru. Amen. Amivarach. Amivarach. Leolam. Into light. Into dark, roll into light. Day and night. We turn to page 51. Unending is your love for your people, the house of Israel, Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts you have taught us.
Therefore, O God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and rejoice in your Torah and mitzvot forever.
Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life and the length of our days. Then your love shall never depart from our hearts. We praise you, O God, you love your people Israel. Now the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You may be seated. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. All this we hold to be true and sure, you alone are God, and there is none else, and we are Israel, your people.
You are our sovereign. You deliver us from the hand of oppressors and save us from the fist of tyrants.
You do wonders without number, marvels that pass our understanding.
You give us our life. By your help, we survive all who seek our destruction.
You did wonders for us in the land of Egypt, miracles and marvels in the land of Pharaoh.
You led your people Israel out forever to serve you in freedom.
When your children witnessed your power, they extolled you and gave you thanks. Willingly they enthroned you, and full of joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang this song. Baruch atah Adonai Gaal Yisrael. Blessed is the Holy One who redeems and saves Israel. May that be so. All right, we turn to Hashkivenu, the prayer for rest on page 54. And I love that our evening prayer service always has a prayer for rest in it. Especially on Shabbat, it feels especially relevant if we've been running around all week and doing this, doing that. Being able to really lean into holy rest, right? Holy rest of this particular Hashkivenu for Shabbat. I like to take a moment for a kavanah, for an intention of thinking also about holy rest over the course of Shabbat. Grant that we may lie down in peace, eternal God, and raise us up, O sovereign, to life renewed. I'm on page 55. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake, be our help.
Shield us from hatred and plague. Keep us from war and famine and anguish. Subdue our inclination to evil. O God, our guardian and helper, our gracious and merciful sovereign. Give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. O guard our coming and our going.
ata Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu vel kol amo Yisrael vel kol yoshvei tevel v'al Yerushalayim. Amen. The Hebrew there, that's the Vishamru, the passage out of the book of Exodus that talks about Shabbat. Shabbat is a gift that we're all given, and it comes the passage out of the book of Exodus, and the last couple words are just so beautiful, and it says, that God created the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day, Shabbat, God rested. Vayinafash. And what's that? Yeah, Vayinafash. Vayinafash. So it gets translated as was refreshed. But a rabbi teacher of mine, Rabbi Mitch Cheffetz, he's in the Reform movement. You may or may not have heard of him. But I was at his synagogue for a while when I was starting towards rabbinical school. And he used to call it God became ensouled, that there was ensoulment, and that as God drew soul on Shabbat, that we too draw into that soul. It's the verb itself is kind of a passive, like became ensouled. Nefesh is the word for soul. So vayinafash became ensouled. It's kind of a really just beautiful image thinking about it. And of course, the things that God did, then we were encouraged also, to carry that out over our practice of Shabbat. And one of the things I really loved about the arrangement that you just shared, Steve, is that it just felt very ensouled. It did. It felt very, very, very much about holy rest. All right. So it's time now for our tefillah. We are on page 56. I'll invite you to rise again, body and spirit. Adonai sifatai tita ufiya ki tehillatacha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nechem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagin. Baruch Atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Yezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Rav Umoshia. Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rav. Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayeh Emunato, Lishem Le'ahava, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melav, Melech Meit, Umechayeh, Umatzviach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Page 58. With love you sustain the living, and with great compassion you give life to all. You send help to the falling and healing to the sick. You bring freedom to the captive and keep faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, mighty one, author of life and death, O source of salvation? We praise you, O God, the source of life. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kidoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha sela, baruch atah Adonai ha'el ha'kadosh. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who strive to be holy declare your glory day by day. We praise you, eternal one, the holy God. You may be seated. We're going to continue on the bottom of page 59, reading together. Our God, God of our fathers and our mothers, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our way of life. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal God, let your holy Sabbath remain our heritage, that all Israel, hallowing your name, may find rest and peace. We praise you, O God, for the Sabbath and its holiness. Be gracious, eternal God, to your people Israel, and receive our prayers with love. O may our worship always be acceptable to you.
Fill us with knowledge,
Mhm.
and to all who seek you in truth. Let our eyes behold your presence in our midst and in the midst of our people in Zion. We praise you, O God, whose presence is close to Zion and all Israel.
And all Israel, Baruch atah Adonai Machazir, Shechinato Letzion. So it is time now for our Thanksgiving blessing. Modim anachnu lach, we give thanks. And so it is our practice to share some things that we are grateful for. I'm grateful we have Minyan tonight, even on Erev Shabbat, Christmas Eve, at a time when a lot of people are traveling and such. So glad for that. Thanks everyone who is here, helping support our community. What else are we grateful for? Bless you. I got some tissues. You want some tissues? Yeah? Yeah? You want tissues? Okay. Anyone else grateful? You can come up and get them. Gratitude? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah? Tissues. Anyone? Seeing a lot of family this week? Uh-huh. Yes. That baby's in mommy's tummy. Yeah, thank you, Bree. Yeah, we're grateful for that too. Yeah. Bisha'a tova. Yeah. Okay. What else are we grateful for? And where is she visiting from?
She's at Rochester.
Rochester. Yeah, excellent. That's a good long drive. Out of the snow belt. Great. Enjoy the visit. Yeah. What else? Anything else? All right, going once, going twice. We will turn to page 61. We gratefully acknowledge that you are our God and the God of our people, the God of all generations. You are the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank you and sing your praises for our lives, which are in your hand, for our souls, which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. You are goodness. Your mercies never end. You are compassion. Your love will never fail. You have always been our hope. For all these things, O sovereign God, let your name be forever exalted and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Eternal God, whose nature is goodness, we give you thanks and praise. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lahodot. All right, it is time for our blessing for peace. Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim liolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim liolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim liolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim liolam. V'tov bi'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael v'et kol ha'amim b'chol eit uv'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim liolam. Shalom Rahav al Yisrael amcha tasim liolam. Tasim liolam. Tasim liolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And we continue now with our silent prayers to bottom of page 64. Say shalom bimrama, say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom,
Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael. V'imeru, Amen. All right. Once again, great thanks to Steve Koffs, our song leader. He is going to be leading us in the Misha Berach in just a moment. Our prayer for healing. We are praying for the following members of our congregation this week: David Frank, Bill Bly, Priscilla Brown, Betsy Grossman, Rhonda Hager, Stu Lieback, Stephen Matzner, Lois Miller, John Rose, Bill Schneider, Lois Snyder, Sharon Stein, Velvel Ben Avraham, Pete Walsh. And I think we want to add the Hagers and whoever else might be on live stream because they're not feeling well. What's that?
Rhonda was mentioned.
Yeah. Anyone else we want to name? Any other names? Yeah.
Jim Marcia, Rosalie Mary Kaplan, Lois England, Marcia Davidson, Ross Wine, Tom Yavik, Howard Manning, Alexa Gilligan, Jay Fox, and Bruce Epstein.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. We'll take all these names that have been mentioned, as well as any others that may be in our hearts, and we'll have our prayer for healing. And Steve, which number is that? Number two. So it's either in the back or the front of your prayer books. You have to check and look for number 2, Misha Berach. May there be complete healing of body, mind, and spirit for everyone in our hearts tonight, and let us say Amen. Amen. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. So I had some thoughts on Erev Shabbat, Christmas Eve, that I wanted to share on sort of interfaith things. I come from an interfaith family, and so this time of year there's always
some navigation of interfaith relationships, and there's always the Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah dance that we do when we go out in public, right? So I'm thinking, and of course we've also got the situation right now of, of us looking for allies right now in what we're dealing with in the war between Israel and Gaza. And so I wanted to share a little bit about interfaith and allyship. So just this last Monday, I attended a one-day gathering with the URJ, with the Reform Movement, and also ARTSA, the Reform Movement's Association for Zionism. And there were a number of members of our community that were also there, Green and Bob, and Mark and Rhonda, Rabbi Sharon. They had about a dozen really interesting speakers that day. It was very nice. And the one that I think impacted me the most was 1 hour I spent learning with a man, Zachary Schaefer, who is a co-founder of a new group called Project Shema. They're about 2 years old. And Project Shema was founded to help address an issue that I know some of us care about very much. The problem that we don't always find good allyship support from our interfaith allies, especially in moments that are really critical, sensitive, and vulnerable, such as when Israel is at war. And as we know recently, the week since the October 7th attacks on Israel. This is something that I personally have struggled with a lot over time, over the years, because it seems like precisely the moment when we most need support, it can be difficult to find allyship. And sometimes our allies are just silent. So I say all of this, that we were also super fortunate, many of you saw this, were on with us tonight, that we had Reverend Julie DeWorth from the local Lutheran Church of the Good Shepherd, which I am now calling the Church of the Good Neighbors. And she came and she brought several members of her community with her. They came to see us a couple Fridays ago, and they were here on Friday night services to offer support to our Jewish community. And you may be wondering, how did that happen? Because we haven't had any other members of the community coming in, but she did. How did that happen? And I want to say that visit didn't just materialize on its own. It was the result of some concerted relationship work over the last couple months that both she and I did together to get to that place. And several things also that Zach Schaefer talked about. So I want to talk about both of those things together. So the first thing that he brought up was not taking a confrontational approach about our need for allyship. And when October 7th went down, it was pretty quiet among our local interfaith clergy. And I'll admit I was a little concerned about that. I was brand new here, right? I just gotten here, whatever it was, 2 months prior, and it was crickets, and I was kind of wondering what to do with that. I did not go to the local clergy berating them for not being there for us. I had already been in contact with Reverend Julie to introduce myself to the local clergy group, which she is president of that group. So I asked her if we could meet to talk about some questions I had about the clergy group. And she agreed. She said, great idea. And so we met. And during that conversation, I learned more about interfaith relationships that were built here locally under Rabbi Lazar's leadership. And he was quite involved with interfaith things, I learned. He was involved with local chaplaincy and the police department as a local chaplain and all kinds of other things, and showed up in interfaith spaces. So I learned about some of that. I did talk in that moment about how the community was feeling pretty isolated because it seemed that many people didn't seem to understand what was going on in Israel for us in our community and what it meant for us. especially the variety of things that it meant for us, because there has been so much dissent in Jewish spaces around what to do right now around Israel. So Pastor Julie asked if I would come to her church and talk about that. And I was not ready to do that, so I said no. It was, I also didn't know that she and I really had the relationship yet to, to be able to handle that. What if someone got angry, and what if someone got accusatory, and what if it was difficulty or whatever? Anyway, I wasn't ready for that. But there was no confrontation in any of that conversation, and that part was important, and that was something that Zach Schaefer brought up. The second thing he brought up, and he talked about this a lot, was about building relationships with allies. Maybe that sounds obvious, but we don't always do this in our interfaith allyship work. Demonstrating specifically how I honor and value my relationship to a particular individual who I would like to count as an ally. So maybe a week or two after our initial meeting, Pastor Julie contacted me asking about participating in a gift card program that they were running through the church, where a social worker in the public school gives kids and families who are food insecure, gives them gift cards to carry their families through the holidays. And I said, yes, I'd be happy to donate to that. And it was supporting something that she cared about and that her congregation cared about. Not only did we demonstrate care for her and her community, but it also helped to amplify the good work that the church is doing in the community, which, it's like a really good thing to be looking out for kids who are food secure when they're off for like 2 weeks and don't have access to school lunches and snacks and things like that. I thought that was really great. And Zach Schaefer talked a lot in his workshop about how good allyship mostly only happens if there is already a good relationship there. It doesn't have to be a long-standing, super deep relationship, but it does need to be a good relationship. Most people don't just show up for nothing. So he talked about ways that we can build and value those relationships, even in times when we're in crisis and when we need help, that we can still find ways to develop and build those relationships and be there for others as well. Another critical piece that he talked about was about demonstrating empathy. And this was super important. And for me, it seemed so important and right. Anti-Semites will accuse us, right? The tropes that are brought up accuse us of being greedy and self-absorbed, that we're only out to get what benefits us, self-enrichment. And the antidote to that is something that I think the rabbis realized more than 1,000 years ago: being a good neighbor, being good people, but also about showing empathy. Making sure that we were having the same weights and measures for ourselves as we were for people who are not in our community, being fair. Showing people that we are not what we are being accused of. That we do have empathy for others, and it's not just that we need help in the moments that we need help. We're also out there helping others. Of course, we know this about our Jewish community, but a lot of times people don't know this about us because it's a stereotype, and sometimes people don't see beyond stereotypes. So what Zach Schaefer said, it was really important to demonstrate empathy, and for that was about showing up in spaces where empathy could be expressed and demonstrated. In the way he explained it, he said in the case of the war in Israel and Gaza, that was about showing empathy for all the people who are suffering in this conflict right now, and not just Israelis. War is awful all around, and the number of Israelis that are still held hostage is awful, and the death toll among the Palestinians is also awful. In order to be able to hear about the things that we want people to know, it was also important that I share a desire to not have civilian deaths on either side. On either side. And I did that when I finally met with the local clergy group. It was only 4 people that day. It wasn't like a big lunch or anything, but because it was like, right before Thanksgiving, I think. And we talked about civilian suffering on all sides of the situation. I talked a little bit more about how this was impacting the Jewish community, specifically about rising anti-Semitism, and how there was some erasure, some ignorance or denial of the experience that we were having. And it was that was the moment that Reverend Julie offered to come to us in a show of support. I did not ask her, she offered, but it was in that moment after that many months of work with her. And I don't think that was a coincidence. I think that was meaningful. One last thing that Zach Schaefer shared that I also want to share with you has to do with more in regards to respect and relationships. He said if you were looking for allyship from someone right now, you don't actually have to talk about the conflict in order to be allies. You don't have to agree about the conflict either. He said, there's nothing necessarily that needs to be proved, and you don't have to be out there trying to change their minds. To build allyship, you don't have to do that at all. Certainly not arguing over the conflict. As I was writing this sermon, it seems so obvious, but I guess it needs to be said, right? People are going to be necessarily less inclined to be our allies if we're arguing with them over Israel and picking apart their ideas and their understandings. Like, it's going to be harder to be our allies in that moment. And that goes for anybody who might disagree with things that we feel around Israel. Arguing's not helpful. So I followed those suggestions with Reverend Julie too. When she agreed to come, we talked a little bit about what message she could share that would feel supportive to us. And I told her that she didn't need to declare an allegiance to any side of the conflict in order to offer us support. That was not necessary. She could focus on decrying the rise of anti-Semitism in our area and leave it at that. Support for us in the midst of what we're facing right now. And that's exactly what she did. And I thought it was very nice to have her there and the members of her community even just showing up. So I want to take these teachings from Zach Schaefer and apply them more consciously also when I am in conflict of any kind, and I think they may also be useful for some of the conversations that we're having and starting to have about Israel within the congregation as well, because there is disagreement within the community, and I don't know if any of you are members of the members Facebook group. We have a Facebook page, but then we also have a Facebook group, which was just started recently, and anyone who's a member here can be part of that members group, and the idea is for us to put things on there that we can chat about, and it doesn't have to be, not just about TBA events and things like that. But someone started posting some things about Israel, and there was some discussion about it, and we're having conversations, and people want to talk about this. So, how can we find some tools to do that in ways that are healthy and respectful? And what I love from what Zach Schaefer had to teach is to remember that the relationship has to come first in those conversations. The relationship has to come first in those conversations. And kindness and support will follow, and, even agreeing to disagree. So, Shabbat Shalom. Merry Christmas if your family celebrates, and Happy New Year. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, So it's time now for our holy announcements. That's you, Melanie. Our devoted Bema guest.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So this week at TBA, Saturday, December 23rd, 10 a.m. alternative Shabbat service. Sunday, December 24th, no religious school or confirmation classes. It's okay. We'll survive this week. Monday, December 25th, TBA office is closed. Thursday, December 28th, noon Torah study with Rabbi Sharon Formental and 7 p.m. sisterhood meeting. Coming up, save the date, Monday, January 1st, TBA offices are closed. Tuesday, January 2nd, 7 p.m. Purim Spiel tryouts in the sanctuary. Friday, January 5th at 7 p.m. Shabbat evening family service honoring new members. 6 p.m. dinner provided by our membership committee. 7 p.m. service. Oneg to follow. Please bring a dessert to share.
Actually, if you're coming to the potluck, if you're not a new member, you should bring a potluck to share. And we're gonna supply food.
Oh,
Okay.
that's nice.
Everyone bring food for the members.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Everybody bring food.
Great.
Wednesday, January 10th, TBA fundraiser. Enjoy lunch or dinner at Iron Hill Brewery and Restaurant in Phoenixville, and they will donate 20% of your check to TBA. You must present them with a flyer. They will be sending us soon.
Thank you. I am also going to be out this next week. I'm going to be here Sunday, and then I'll be back shortly after New Year's. And we're going to be talking about. We'll let people know everything is going to be covered, and we have some plans for that. But we'll make sure that folks know what to do with that. And you've already talked about Cindy's and the office and those plans. Tomorrow is alternative spirituality Saturday morning. I typically will do some meditation and some chanting. If you have never tried Jewish meditation, I invite you to try it out. I guess we're also going to be live streaming, so we'll be here in the sanctuary, and I'll make sure that we're mic'd up. But typically we kind of meet here in the area, the front area here. And yeah, you can give it a try. I'm going to definitely do something around darkness and light and transition, solstice kind of stuff. So, yeah, feel free to join. It will not be a long, drawn-out thing. It will be nice. I have led many meditations, and I'm glad to share that with our folks. Any other announcements we may have missed? Anything else? No? Okay. All right. Then it is time for the Aleinu, page 148. Did I get that right? Yep, 148. Please rise as you are able. It's time for Bree to come help me open the ark. Are you ready? All right. Here we go. Are you ready? Here we go. Put your hand here, and I'll help you move the door. Let's do this one first, okay? Here we go. Just push. There we go. Okay, nice and gentle, okay? Now this one. Okay, push this. Nice and gentle, okay? Hands up. We don't take them out of the ark for the Aleinu, but you can stand here with me while we're singing, okay? You want to go back down? That's okay. All right. Thank you very much for helping. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol latet gedula liyotzer bereshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot v'lo samanu kamishpachot hadama shelo sam chelkenu Special thanks, of course, to everyone who made our service possible tonight. Steve Koffs for leading such a beautiful service together with me. Mark, of course, for helping us know that we had a minion. Yay. Thank you, Mark. And also for organizing our live stream. And Corinne for also assisting with that. We have a final prayer that I wanted to add into the service, and I wanted to call forward Mike Galvin, who's going to be reading this before we get to the mourner's Kaddish. And then we can have, we'll have a song that's going to come right after that Steve's going to play.
Before the
Okay, please.
May it be your will, our God and God of our ancestors, to heal our broken hearts. For the babies, children, women, and men, for the elderly, for the Holocaust survivors, for all those who were murdered with cold cruelty in their houses and in their fields, for the hospitals filled with wounded, for the hundreds of thousands of frightened refugees, for the kidnapped of every nationality, Jewish, Arab, Bedouin, Thai, Nepali, for all the innocent taken without warning, for Israel's soldiers who have courageously gone to fight a war they did not want, for the Arabs and Jews whose shared hope for peace has itself been kidnapped by the forces of hate, for Jews all around the world, children, students, and communities who are now fearing for their lives, for the bitter hatred of Israel that has burst forth around the world with the assault of terror on the human conscience. Please, God, give us the strength not to be broken. Help us distinguish between darkness and light, between despair and hope, between terror and defense. Give us strength to uproot what is evil and protect the good. Give us the strength to stand steadfast as one from every religion and nation in our refusal to let terror take over heart and conscience. May we never let terror trample the hope we share as Jews, as Israelis, as human beings, to be lovers of life, peace, and blessing. Please, God, we do not know what awaits our world, and we lift our pleas to you. May it be your will to lead us toward peace, to guide our steps toward peace, to enable us to reach our destination to life, to joy, and to peace. May you return all of the soldiers and kidnapped of Israel safely home to us, to a life of peace. Save us from every enemy, predator, and evildoer we may encounter on our path, and from every form of chaos, both physical and moral, that might enter our world. Grant us courage and compassion in your eyes and in the eyes of all who see us. For you are the one who hears our prayers and our pleas. Blessed are you who hears prayer. May God bless you and keep you. May the light of God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God's face be lifted toward you and grant you peace.
Thank you so much. It's a really beautiful couple of prayers that were written by Reform rabbis, but also from some rabbis in Israel, and I've been sharing them from time to time in our services. Thank you so much, Mike, for reading that with such beautiful spirit. thanks, of course, to our BEMA guest and Melanie Levy, and also to Bree for helping me open up the Ark. Very special. Thank you. All right, it is time for our mourner's Kaddish. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed from this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss of life and death. We are observing the following yard sites in our congregation this week. William Miller, father of Scott Cattleman. Arthur Senneman, the father of Susan Peterman. Grace Brennan, the mother of Valerie Scheinbach. William Miller, the husband of Lois Miller and the father of David Miller. Jose Krimker, the grandfather of Joshua Saragovi. Stephen Levy, the brother of Seth Levy. Max Greenberg, the father of Willa D'Souza. Anna Mazer, the mother of Marvin Mazer. Audrey Bratt, the mother of Erica Brown. Anyone else have a yard site that we did not name? Yeah?
Lonnie Goldberg.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Grandma Florence Davis.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And if those are folks who you would like to have on our list, let me know and we'll make sure that the office gets in touch about them. Okay? Let me know. All right. We also want to recognize those members of our community who've lost a close loved one recently, within the last 30 days, putting them in the mourning category of Shloshim being 30. So Colette Wake lost her aunt, Helen Holiday. That was on November 30th, was the burial for her. We lost a congregant, Marvin Fuchs. His funeral was on December 8th. Anne Reutman lost her mother, Fran Lubbs. That funeral was just this week, Tuesday. And we haven't put this out yet. It's going to come out right after Shabbat, as soon as I type it up. That Cheryl Teppe's mother and Annie Teppe's grandmother, her name is Rosalind Goldie Bernstein. She died a week ago Monday, and the funeral was on December 16th. And that, as I said, will be announced shortly after Shabbat. And they've already had the funeral and have already done the Shiva as well in Minnesota. Okay, so anyone else in an active period of mourning want to talk about, want to say the name of the person they're saying Kaddish for? We'll ask folks who are saying Kaddish to please rise, and everyone else to also rise in support of the mourners. The Kaddish is on page 154. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach yurteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, b'gala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Lilam Olamei Almaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar Dramam V'yitnaseh. V'yithadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei Dekudesha Barichu. Le'ela Minkol Birchata V'shirata Tushbachata V'nechemata Da'amiran B'alma V'imru Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the source of peace grant peace to all of those who mourn, comfort to the bereaved, and let us say amen. And now our closing song. So I'll invite you to rise for Kiddush. It's on page 165 in your prayer books.